Hey everybody, welcome back. It's James. I just wanted to give you an update. I passed the Part 107 test yesterday with flying colors. I made a 95. You need to make a 70 to pass the test, and I'm gonna kind of show you some of the things I went through and how I studied. I mean, I studied for 4 weeks, people. I studied for 4 weeks and learned. I did not memorize. I learned and I learned and I learned, and I went through so much. And I want to show you what I did. Maybe it'll give you a chance to make it one and done and make a 95 or 100 yourself. So we're going to go ahead and go in here and take a look at some of these screenshots. Let me see if I can get my mug here on the screen. There we go. So the Federal Aviation Admission, they have practice tests, they have rules and regulations. This is the foundation that pretty much runs everything that happens in the air and the FAA. And I'm going to leave a link to everything I talk about below. And we're going to go over it. This goes through all the rules. It goes through the operation of moving vehicles at night, visual line of sight, everything. This is all the different things that are written into law. FAA drone zone. Once you become a Part 107 drone pilot, you're going to have to re-register your drones on the FAA website. It's $5 per drone. You're no longer a recreational flyer. You're now a Part 107 user, and you have to re-register your drones. FAA Drone Zone. There's some helpful links here. They're going to, if you need to make a request in an unauthorized airspace, the Federal Administration FAA Drone Zone is the place to go for everything. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things I had to do, some of the things I did to teach myself for 4 weeks. The first thing I did, I went to Amazon and I purchased the Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement. And this is the exact book that you're going to be using during the test. They're going to hand you this book. They're going to hand you a simple calculator. They're going to maybe hand you a ruler, hand you a couple of pieces of blank paper. Mine was taken on a computer. I was the only person there taking a test. And I was thinking, wow, I get the whole place to myself. And I was kind of nervous at first, but you know what? I took my time. I went through each question in detail. And when you go through these questions, read them very carefully. And when you look at the answers, a lot of them are just using the process of elimination. Some of the answers are so stupid. And if you know and you've been studying long enough, you're going to know what's right and what's wrong. After you take the test, if you finished it in less than an hour, you have 2 hours to take it. Go back through each question and validate your answers. There was one that I missed, and when I went back through it and really looked at it hard, I changed it and I got the answer correct. Like I said, I only missed 3 questions, and I'll have to go through and tear down which ones those were. But know everything, people. The sectional aeronautical chart. Know everything. Read everything in detail. It says airports having control towers shown in blue. All others are magenta. Read it in detail. Learn about airports. Learn about charts. Learn about everything there is to do. Class B airspace, blue. Class C airspace, magenta. Dash blue, Class D. The ceilings, the up to ceilings, the Class E airspace at surface, dash magenta, and then 700 feet. And also know everything that's underneath it. If you have a Class E airspace, what is below E? Well, below this E, 700 feet above surface, is Class G. Remember that. Know how the layers are made. Practice, practice, practice. Go through study charts, go through guides, go through videos. Well, I have a Twitter account, and I'm well known in the crypto community. I pay monthly for SuperGrok. It's a AI program that allows you to ask questions pretty much about everything. And I was kind of iffy at first about AI, but when I went through and started asking about the hardest questions on the Part 107 test, it pretty much kind of went through and it gave the correct answers, believe it or not. And then when I came down here a little bit further, aeronautical chart legends, practicing on different airspace classes and all the above, it actually works pretty good. But I'll tell you the way that I made a 95 on this test, and I'm not affiliated with Mike Sytes. Mike is incredible. I've been watching his videos for a month. Actually, I started watching his videos before I found his study guides and test preps, and I actually paid for this program. And I made a 95 on the test because I did so. It is at MikeSytes.com. I'll leave a copy below. Like I said, Do this at your own pace. I'm not telling you how to study. I'm just telling you what helped me. I'm almost 60 years old and I feel like a kid. And I was all giddy when I figured out I made 95 on the test yesterday. Also, there's a preview on this page. And I want to thank Mike for including one of my videos I made a few weeks ago at the very bottom. Member Port 107 review video. Thank you so much for getting that out there. But I have a couple of tabs open here. Know the airspace classification. Know class A, B, C, D, E, and G. Know the AGL. Know what AGL is. Know what MSL is. Know what everything. The circumference, the outer lying areas. Know it all. Learn it all. Don't just memorize things. Learn it and take practice tests. Sectional charts at first are going to look confusing. And you got latitude and longitude, and you got different zones, and you got elevation, and you got military areas, and you got restricted areas. And you're going to be, at first, when you start studying this, you're going to go, okay, what are all these numbers? What are all these colors? Why is the dashes? Why are these different airports at different angles? You know, what's the deal? What's this SFC, which is surface to 4,000? And you'll learn it all. If you're repetitious and you go through it all and you learn it, you'll really learn it if you get on Mike's program because he goes through it all in detail. Learn about METARs and TAFs. I think that's the way you pronounce it, METARs. Once you get the hang of it and understand what all of these characters are for, Zulu, direction, gust, all the above, you'll get it down and it'll come to you naturally. You just have to be repetitious, learn exactly. Now, this is probably what saved me because every day when I got in my truck to go to town or wherever, I would turn on YouTube and watch Mike Sytes videos. He has a 2-hour video. He has a trick question video. He has a video that pertains to every aspect, sectional charts, weather, METARs, latitude, longitude, airport operations, airport factors, risk management. Yeah, learn about attitudes, behaviors, all the above. Really know how to use AGL and MSL on the charts. That is very important because you're going to look at structures and all the above. Like I said, I can go into this in detail. I could spend just as much time as Mike does teaching. And, there's sample tests. If you go to test preps here, there's going to be 30 question tests. There's going to be 100 question tests, and it's going to go through and it's going to give you 30 minutes to take this test. And you're going to go ahead in here and minimum visibility is going to say, yes, you're correct. And you go through here and it tells you which ones you got wrong, which ones you got right. I went through these many times and retook. So just go through here, take your time, know exactly what you're studying. Study it for a long time. I spent 4 weeks. I actually scheduled my test 2 weeks out, but when I realized that I hadn't studied long enough, I went ahead and rescheduled my test for 4 weeks out, and I felt better because I didn't have to rush anything. And every night at home, every day I drove, I watched videos, I took practice tests, and being repetitious and learning it, I made a 95, people. And I'm happy. And now I'm a certified drone pilot. I could do real estate. I could do aerial photography. And I know the rules of the road, clouds, weather, altitudes, all the above. I know everything. And it was a learning experience. And I really enjoyed learning what I did by going through all these courses and taking all these test questions. So you could do it. If I could do it, you can do it. And all you need to do is study. I'll leave a link to everything I talked about below. Have a good day. Good luck. Pass that Port 107, and we'll see you in the air, people.